I always believed the past was settled. Tidy little moments, packed away like old photographs, faded, sealed, and forgotten. But one rainy Tuesday afternoon, I learned the past doesn't die quietly. Sometimes, it waits. Patiently. In silence. For the exact moment when it can change everything. It started with a box. The attic was a mess, dusty, full of half-forgotten things my grandmother had left behind. She passed a year ago, but we hadn't touched much up there. My mother said it was too painful. But now the house was being sold, and someone had to go through the things no one wanted to claim. The box was small, tucked between a broken lamp and a stack of yellowing newspapers. A shoebox, wrapped in a faded ribbon, like someone had once cared deeply about what was inside. I didn't think much of it at first. But then I opened it. Inside, a single envelope. Cream-colored, brittle with age, and unsealed. My heart tripped. There was no stamp. No address. Just a name, written in the kind of cursive people don't use anymore. Daniel. I paused. I didn't know any Daniel. Not in my family. Not in any of my grandmother's stories. I pulled out the letter. Dear Daniel. I'm writing this because I know I never will say it out loud. And maybe that's cowardly. Maybe I'll regret it. But I have to tell you what I've never said. I loved you. Not like a sister, not like a friend. And I know I was supposed to marry Thomas with God. I wish I could explain why I said yes. I wish I could explain everything. I stopped reading. My grandmother had a secret. A secret love. A life that could have been something entirely different. I didn't know what to do. I wanted to read more, but some part of me felt like I was trespassing on something sacred. But curiosity is a relentless thing. I kept reading. I saw you the day before the wedding. You smiled at me like it didn't hurt. You said you were happy for me. And maybe you were. Maybe you've already moved on. But I haven't. I won't. If you still feel the same, meet me at the lake house. Midnight. One night before the wedding. I'll be there. And if you come, maybe we still have a chance. If you don't, I'll know. And I'll marry Thomas. And I'll try to forget you. Love always, Eleanor. I sat back, stunned. Eleanor? My grandmother. She never mentioned a Daniel. And she did marry Thomas, my grandfather. They'd had 3 children, a life together, the whole story. But what if she hadn't wanted that life? What if she'd waited at the lake house, and he never came? Or worse, what if he did? I didn't sleep that night. The letter lived in my thoughts, burning like a brand. The lake house she mentioned, yes, it was real. We still owned it. Still quiet and old and worn down, nestled near the woods by the water. I'd been there every summer as a child. I knew it like a second skin. But now, I wondered what it had witnessed. So I went. I don't know what I expected. Ghosts? Clues? Closure? The lake house was just as I remembered, creaking floorboards, cracked windows. I stood there in the moonlight, imagining Eleanor, in a dress, hair pinned up, waiting in the silence. And then, something strange. I noticed the floorboard near the hearth was slightly raised. Not enough to catch the eye, but just enough to feel wrong. I knelt down, pried it loose, and beneath it, was another envelope. Sealed this time. Addressed to Eleanor. My breath caught. The letter she never sent, had been answered. With trembling fingers, I opened it. Eleanor? You don't owe me anything. I saw it in your eyes, you never wanted to say yes, to him. But you did. And I understand. The world doesn't always let us choose the ones we love. I came to the lake house. I waited. All night. You never came. So I left. Not because I stopped loving you. But because I finally understood, I was your escape, not your future. I joined the Navy that week. Didn't tell anyone. I needed to disappear. But I thought about you every single day. If you're reading this, I guess we never found our way back. Love always. Daniel. The page blurred with my tears. She didn't go. He did. And neither ever knew. I sat there for a long time, surrounded by silence that felt too heavy, too alive. My grandmother had lived an entire life beside someone she hadn't truly loved. My grandfather, did he know? Was he a consolation prize? Or did she learn to love him, slowly, painfully? And Daniel, a ghost of a man who vanished into the waves of time. I took both letters with me. I didn't tell my mother. I didn't tell anyone. Some stories don't need to be rewritten. But they deserve to be remembered. Weeks passed. And one evening, while digging through the local archives, curiosity again, I found something. A death notice. Unclaimed. Daniel Whitaker. Died, 1974. No known family. Buried at sea. But that wasn't the twist. He had a journal. Recovered from his belongings. And the final entry? If I ever have a daughter, I'd name her Eleanor. Because some names deserve to live forever. I closed the book, my heart hammering. Because my mother's name? Eleanor. And suddenly, I wasn't sure of anything anymore. Who had really fathered her? And what if my grandmother had known all along? What if this wasn't a story of lost love at all? But a secret, perfectly hidden. Until now,